All right, tonight we're going to deconstruct a ghost story that is just genuinely chilling. It all unfolds on this dark, isolated road. It's really a tale about a journey that goes horribly, horribly wrong. A village that's hiding a gruesome secret, and a sense of duty that literally reaches from beyond the grave. Okay, let's dive right in.
But before we really get into the story, let me just ask you this. What do you think is the deadliest mistake a traveler can possibly make? Is it, taking a wrong turn, trusting the wrong person, or is it something a lot more subtle, like just ignoring all the warning signs that are practically screaming at you to turn back? Just keep that question in the back of your mind as we go through this.
So, let's set the scene. We're gonna meet our main character, a guy named Arnav, whose very simple mission is about to take him straight into an absolute nightmare.
So Arnav works for a small medicine company, and his job is pretty straightforward, right? He delivers medicine to doctors and shops. But today, his mission is critical. He has to get this package to a super remote village called Tamaspur. Little does he know just how far or how dangerous that delivery is about to become.
He finally gets to the Tamaspur station, and he finds, well, nothing. The place is an absolute ghost town. A local tea stall owner tells him the grim reality of the situation. Out here, after 6 p.m., everything just shuts down. No rickshaws, no autos, all transport just stops for the night.
And boom, just like that, Arnav is completely stranded. The village of Tamaspur is still a 5 to 6 hour walk from where he is. The sun's going down, and he's totally alone on this empty road with an urgent delivery to make. His sense of duty just pushes him forward, straight into the darkness.
Okay, so this is where things start to get really creepy. Arnav's long walk turns into this series of increasingly urgent warnings. You could almost think of them as 4 chances he had to save himself, 4 giant flashing red flags that he, tragically, just keeps ignoring. So these are the 4 encounters that just keep ramping up the dread. First up, you have a kind offer. Then, a moment of what seems like pure luck. After that, a direct, forceful command. And finally, a violent confrontation. Each one just ups the ante.
The very first warning comes from that tea stall owner. He sees the mess Arnav is in and offers him a place to stay for the night, totally free of charge. He tells him point blank, be careful. These roads are very dangerous at night. But, Arnav feels bound by his duty to deliver that medicine, so he turns down the offer of safety and just keeps on going.
So just as he's starting to lose all hope, an auto rickshaw just appears out of the darkness. This is our second warning. To Arnav, it feels like a miracle. The driver offers him a ride, and of course he gratefully hops in. But this savior, he's got a really sinister vibe. When they get stopped later, the driver just abandons Arnav without even arguing, giving him this chilling, all-knowing smile as he drives off and leaves him stranded all over again.
The third warning is the most direct of them all. This large man blocks the road, says he's a police officer, and literally forces Arnav out of the auto. He doesn't offer any help, he just gives him a command. This place is not for you. Leave now. He is physically stopping Arnav from going any further, which is about as clear a sign as you can get that he should turn back.
And all of that, it brings us to the climax. After surviving that 4th warning, a terrifying attack by a robber on the road, Arnav just runs for his life. He thinks he's finally found a safe place to hide, but in reality, he's just walked straight into the heart of the trap.
Imagine it. He's running for his life, panting, completely terrified, and then he spots a little flicker of light. It's an old hut in the middle of nowhere. He knocks. A man opens the door, listens to his story, and so kindly offers him shelter for the night. For Arnav, it is this huge moment of relief. He thinks he's finally safe.
But that feeling of safety? Yeah, it shatters in an instant. The door bursts open, and the robber from the road storms right in. And then, the man who offered him shelter says something that just freezes his blood. Recognize me? I'm that same auto driver. In that single moment, Arnav gets it. The robber, the auto driver, the man in the hut, they're all in it together.
And then, the true horror reveals itself. Right before his eyes, the men start to change. Their bodies twist and contort, and they take on this monstrous, terrifying form. Right then, he knows. These aren't just criminals. These things are not human.
And the scene inside this hut is it's a house of horrors. He's tied up, totally helpless.
His eyes dart around the room and he sees the evidence of all the past victims. There's a human skeleton just lying on a table. Bones are scattered all over the floor. And then he overhears the creatures talking about what they're going to do to him. Kill him so they can sell his organs. This is their lair.
So, right when you think it's all over, that all hope is lost, the story takes this wild turn. The falling action isn't really about him escaping. It's about a supernatural intervention, a battle between two completely opposite spectral forces.
Just as these creatures are moving in for the kill, something completely impossible happens. The ropes that are tying Arnav up just fall away, on their own. And then some invisible force violently shoves the monsters to the ground, buying him a few precious seconds.
And then a figure appears in the doorway. It's the police officer from the road. But he's not the same. His face is all twisted and terrifying. His body looks lifeless. And Arnav realizes he's not looking at a man anymore. He's looking at a ghost.
The officer's ghost doesn't waste any time. As he physically holds back these monstrous creatures, he screams at Arnav, "I can't save you every time. Now run!" This isn't just some random rescue. This is a ghost still doing his duty, protecting an innocent person from the very same evil that took his own life.
So, how does this whole nightmare finally end? Well, Arnav escapes. He runs blindly through the dark until he collapses right back where he started, at the train station. When he finally wakes up, that kind tea stall owner is there, and at last, the dark secret of Tamaspur is revealed.
The owner lays out the whole tragic history of the place. 10 years ago, 2 criminals were murdering travelers for their organs. An honest police officer who got a little too close to catching them was murdered by them. But shortly after that, the criminals themselves died in a mysterious fire at their hideout, which was the exact same hut Arnav was just trapped in. Now their evil spirits haunt that road, while the officer's ghost stays behind to keep fighting them.
So really, what this whole story boils down to are 2 totally different kinds of ghosts. On one side, you have the criminals, spirits who are trapped by their own greed, forced to repeat their horrific crimes over and over. And on the other, you have the officer, a spirit who is bound by this incredible sense of duty, who stays to protect and serve.
As the train whistle blows, Arnav just scrambles aboard, clutching that medicine box that started this entire nightmare. He leaves Tamaspur behind, and he never looks back. His life saved not by chance, but by the ghost of a man who refused to abandon his post.
And that leaves us with one final fascinating question to think about. We started by asking what a traveler's deadliest mistake is, and maybe it is just ignoring the warnings. But as we finish, the story asks something much deeper. Is this really just a horror story, or is it a story about a sense of duty that is so incredibly powerful it can't be stopped, not even by death itself?